I picked it up, something happened. I don't know, I just felt magic.
I don't know, it just seemed like the rock and roll guitar. You know, when I was a kid, only old men played Gibsons.
Every once in a while, you just get something that's perfect. It's like a 32 Ford. And it's the same thing with these guitars.
It's just the twang.
The twang is unique.
They snarl pretty good.
Gosh, it's just so cool, man. And especially since I'm from Texas, you know, having a longhorn on your guitar, you gotta have that.
Somebody once said, and it might have been Steve Jones, it's just a bit of wood with strings on it. But I tend to think perhaps there's a little more.
Going out on a limb, you know, back in the day, you know, Eddie Cochran and you know, Harrison, and even Setzer, you know, trying to make a comeback from a genre that had been dead for 30 years, you know, went with Gretsch guitars.
I mean, I can't tell you the people who have that guitar tattooed on their arm, you know. So it's something.
Well, I saw the Cult a long time ago, and Billy was playing it, and it could have been the coolest. Like, this is the ultimate rock and roll look, I think.
This is that actual guitar that I bought in 1982. I use this on pretty much every track on Choice of Weapon's got a Gretsch on it in some way, shape or form.
Even before I moved to England, I wrote Rumble in Brighton, Rock This Town, Stray Cat Strut on that guitar back on Long Island. And then when I moved to England, I wrote the rest of the first album on it, Sexy and 17, and oh gosh, all the Stray Cat songs.
I would go in a music store and look at it like some beautiful woman, and I'm not good enough for that yet. So and finally when I did, you know, I won't go back anywhere else.
Since Gretsch began producing guitars in the late 1920s, right up to today, that Great Gretsch Sound has been woven into the fabric of modern pop culture. Iconic guitars that have been heard and seen around the world.
The history, as far as I know, it started in Brooklyn.
The history of the Gretsch Company dates back to 1883, when Friedrich Gretsch, a German immigrant to America, started a small musical instrument business in Brooklyn, New York.
The Gretsch Company was a musical instrument company, band instruments, drums, harmonicas, everything. They were the biggest manufacturer of musical instruments at the turn of the century.
1927 marked the auspicious start of guitar production under the Gretsch name. And by the 1950s, the Gretsch Company was poised for success, ready to work up new guitar design innovations and features for a fast-growing market of popular music. Many of those same designs and features are what make a Gretsch today.
They found what worked, they stuck with it, they didn't change it, and that was it, that was good.
Sonically, they bring something different to music, I feel. The Filtertron pickups were humbuckers that were patented before Seth Lover patented the Gibson humbucker, but also aesthetically and visually. These things are works of art. Color finishes were a Gretsch thing before Fender became famous for custom colors. So there were a lot of innovations and leadership examples we can point to in this story.
Stuff that's beyond my comprehension as a player, the thickness of the woods and all that. And you guys are keen to that and aware of that. And, you know, I don't know if anybody else pays that kind of attention.
Obviously you don't stay in the past, but there should be a connection where you're taking what was cool about the past and then building on that for the future. I think Gretsch is one of the few companies that really understands what exactly was so cool about the stuff in the past. That Gretsch hollow body sound, there's nothing like that. When I was really young, when I was still a teenager, I got my hands on a double anniversary, early 60s Tobacco Sunburst, and there was just something about the way it sounded that just really, really moved me, and Gretsch has been the guitar that I've played really ever since then.
It's the most versatile guitar I've ever found. I can use it for any kind of music, whether it's rock or rockabilly or country or jazz or, you know, R&B. It'll do the whole range. And I can't think of another guitar that'll do that. They all have some things they're not good at.
I've got albums where we'll have a kind of a fast, bright country type song, and you know, guys will go, "Wow, you used a Telecaster on that." It's like going, "No, I used a Gretsch." And then the same saying, you know, the, "Wow, you used some kind of jazz guitar on that." You know, what kind of? It's like, well, it's the Gretsch, same Gretsch. I just used the same one. You know, so they're versatile.
You know, over the years, Pete Townshend's talked about his Gretsch guitar and how much of a difference it's made in the Quadrophenia years and the Woke and Fooled Again recordings.
As Pete Townshend said, it's the loudest guitar he's ever owned, was his 6120, and I have to attest to that these 6120s are just brutal pigs.
I pretty much write songs around that guitar tone. But for everything I do, it's perfect, you know. It's got the Bigsby on it.
The reason I wanted this guitar is because of the Bigsby. Didn't have that on the Gibson.
I mean, these guitars came equipped with this wiggle stick. I mean, good God. I mean, it comes out of the factory this way. It's designed to be crazy. You don't get Les Pauls or Telecasters or Strats. They're not designed to be crazy like this. I mean, this thing is crazy.
For me, that's it. It's that twang sound. You know, you can get it, or you can get it this way. And you get a sound like that going, you know, and as next thing you know, you got your new song, you know, because it's just got that.
All the rock and roll guys either used Fenders or Gretsch. And I always really liked Duane Eddy and Eddie Cochran.
I don't know if you ever opened up a new guitar and smelled the case and the guitar itself, you know, it's a magic feeling. And I went home and just sat and looked at it for a long time, just smelling it, looking at it, feasting on it with my eyes.